Welcome. Welcome to Hug Nation Live. As we filter into the different digital spaces, give people a chance to arrive and settle in. Think about, what are you going to share today? What are you grateful for that you're going to share with us? Because, boy, it's a gift to learn what you are appreciating on this gorgeous Saturday. Welcome. It's Belvorftor. If you're here, I'd love to know where you are, what you're grateful for. If you got a funky screen name, you can tell us your name. My name is John. I'm in San Diego, California. It's a nice breeze. I am full of gratitude for this time of year in San Diego as it cools off a bit, and went for a nice walk this morning. Actually, I went for a teeny tiny jog this morning. So I'm grateful that my body felt good enough to do that. And I'm grateful that I got my hands in the dirt a little bit this morning and planted some jade plants. That we've got a huge amount of jade in our yard, and pieces of it break off, and often they start to root a little bit. So I took a lot of little bitty rooting pieces, and I put them all in a planter this morning. And boy, that makes me feel good to get although I was wearing gloves, so I wasn't touching the dirt. So maybe I should get my hands back in the dirt. But I do really love interacting with plants. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, anyone who might be tuning in to say hello and share some gratitude. I am so grateful for my partner, Lisa. We have we recorded a podcast for an episode for her podcast. It's going to go live in a couple of days, talking about our relationship and me joining her choir. And some of the theme of the choir season is finding harmony amongst conflict. And so we kind of focused on the ways we do that within our relationship and how that relates to the world at large. Good morning, Taze, and hello, Mingle. Good morning. Today, I am feeling especially grateful for my friends, Eric and Tasha. They had us over for dinner last night. I've known Eric since college, and just such wonderful people. And they've done something really inspiring to me, that their sons are all grown. They're, out of college, but they, throughout the whole growing up of the kids, they had this kind of open door policy for their kids and their kids' friends. And they continue it. And so this beautiful home they have is filled with people, young people. And so as we were outside, like hanging out by the fire with, these two couples in our 50s, these young people would come out to the fire to say, "Hey, we're leaving town. It was so nice to meet you." Like they friends of these young people's friends of friends introduced them, and then they are felt so welcomed by Eric and Tasha that they end up, returning to their house to say goodbye before they leave town on their adventures. It's early for me. I'm just now starting some coffee, but I just was so they're so friendly. And as we're hanging out, this young woman who is a not professional, but I guess professional beach volleyball player, touring, on the circuit, and we start talking with her. She sits down and talks with us, and it's just the vibe of openness and friendliness, and the way that they are so much curiosity about everyone. It's like, man, the world would be a better place if everybody just greeted the other with a smile and curiosity. And so that was one aspect that was super inspiring about it. Good morning, Gerbot. Hello, Pierre. And then also, they have decided that they are going to live in their home forever. And so they have project after project after project of turning their home into a, a castle, a art gallery, a fantasy land. It's 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 magical. And uh, that's on my list of dream things, is to own a home and know I'm going to stay there so that we can customize and have it as a canvas for expression. Um, the condo that I had before, we're renting here, but where the condo I had before I bought it, it was the first time I'd ever owned anything. And so it was the first time I'd ever painted walls. And I loved that experience of my home being a canvas for my expression. And we definitely are doing that in this house, but not so much that we would invest a whole bunch of money because we don't own it. And so seeing the way that they have turned this, you know, it's a lot and it's a house, but it is an expression of them, and it is an extension of their creativity and their hearts. And like the art, it's all over their yard, and sculptures, they created it. It's so awesome. So I'm so grateful for good friends and people who are on that journey of authentic expression of who they are. And and as that authentic expression reveals itself, it can't help, if it's genuine, it can't help but be glowing and illuminating and inspiring. I had to think about that. It's like, because is it true that authentic expression can't help but being illuminating and inspiring? Well, I think when I said that, I was, maybe was thinking that authentic light, when we remove the obstacles, when we remove the fears and traumas and stuff, that I think we can authentically express, and it can be uh, dark. I mean, you can be authentic and still be pretty angry and uh, negative. So I'm going to retract that and say, authentic expression doesn't have to be illuminating light, but the but but the divine expression, when the human and the ego stuff all gets removed, then you can't help but be divine and glowing. How's that? I think I'll stand by that. That anybody, if they any human, as if they can remove the obstacles of their spirit, of their life force, their divinity, that expression will be loving and illuminating in light. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. If you're here, say hello. Tell us what you're grateful for. Welcome, Varen. Welcome, Uni. Gerbot says, I am grateful to be seeing my dad today and to be in service to him splitting wood today. Nice. We talked last night a lot. I got to sing with my mom in the choir. Well, I'm singing with her on stage next week, but we practiced and I went over to house and sang. And so we had a lot of conversations last night about relationship to our parents, and how difficult it can be and how much work it can require, but how rewarding it can be. Like Eric and Tasha, they have these incredible relationships with their adult sons, where there's this like respect. I think that's the key. When you have mutual respect with family, that is something that's really special, but it takes effort and work, and sometimes something that's out of your control. You can put the effort in and not be met. And that's one of those hard things about about a personal growth path is that, and especially family, it's our biggest teachers are our relationships, and our families are places where you you can't control it. Uni says, "Good morning. I'm grateful for coffee and friends." Well, cheers. I'll drink some coffee to you. Isabel Marie says, "Grateful to be alive and seeing another birthday on Monday. Happy early birthday." High Noon says, "I am grateful for curiosity." What's going on here? Ah, I am. I'm feeling a little sleepy today. Hey, Michael says, "I'm grateful for connection and miracles." I am grateful that got plans to go to Colorado for my uncle's memorial. Grateful that going to be able to introduce Lisa to family, and grateful that my body works well enough that I could do a little bitty jog this morning, and that my physical therapy is at least moving. Not a ton of progress, but grateful that my shoulder is at least I've got help. Grateful for this moment last night um, at after dinner. We were hanging out in front of a fire, and Tasha is in the choir, although she's not going to make it to the performance. So after before we left uh, their house, Tasha and Lisa broke out in song, and I joined them. And so we sang a couple of the songs that we had all been practicing for the last 5 months. And it's like it's this is a very new experience for me. I up until the last 5 months, there's only one song that I knew all the words to. It's what I would the only song I would sing outside of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And so to know songs with other people and to be able to just break into song, it's a new tingly, yummy experience. And I think it helps me to understand my fiance better, who has such a lifelong connection with song and singing and music, and it's not something that has been a part of my life at all. So to be tasting these new synapse things, and it's 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 been special. Welcome, Christina and Sinaj. High Noon says, "I'm grateful for the time spent working at a bike shop in my 20s and learning so much. It sparked me to get back into mountain biking, bike packing, and trying a bit of roadie riding." Last night we were talking to this young woman about, and I'm just taking a pause to just think about that it's such an unusual experience for me to just drop in around a campfire with a young person that's not my nephews, and to instantly be talking about our families and our relationships and our dreams, and um, yeah, lost my train of thought. Christina says, "I love that your relationship is a space for personal learning and growth. It's a goal I have for myself in romantic love as a single woman." Thank you. And it is, it's really been so much more than I ever dreamed of. I think that it's one of the, so Tasha and Eric, they met in college, and they've been together for 20, 30 years, something like that. How old are we? 30, 40? I don't know. A long time. And um, whereas Lisa and I met in our 50s. So Lisa and I have had so much life experience and personal growth and relationship up, ins and outs of relationships and lessons and classrooms. And so it's been such a gift to begin a relationship with so much wisdom around ourselves and relationship. And I think that's something people start to get discouraged sometimes as they get older. But I really think it can be so helpful and magical to meet someone. Uh, but yeah, I think if you get a kick out of the podcast that Lisa's releasing on Monday, where Lisa and I talk about some of the things that we have been actively doing and for a relationship. Brian says, I'm grateful for unforgiving, authentic masculinity and all its greatness. I'm grateful for realizing that I never have to apologize for even 1% of it. You might enjoy it too. I mean that with all the love in the world. Interesting. I guess amen for anything authentic. JM says, grateful for saunas. Now autumn is coming. Yeah, it's a little less fun to go in a sauna when you're sweating all day. Natasha says, I'm grateful for the rain here today in the southwestern desert. Lovely. Hello, Mr. Opinions. Mr. Opinion says, I've been in a deep funk the last few months. This week I had a huge breakthrough in therapy, and for some reason today feels lighter. That's something to be grateful for. Heck yeah. I'm so happy to hear that. I hope your day gets better and better. It's good to know that this too shall pass, even those funks. High Noon says, I'm grateful for the safe space you have created, John and y'all. I need to remember there are more places and beings like this. Love more, fear less, with the community here and now. Yeah, I shared last night that, I woke up yesterday morning and that I put the title of the broadcast yesterday as Friday Frustration. I was not in a good mood, but hanging out and connecting and hearing gratitude from other people and challenging myself to find gratitude, I was in a good mood by the time we ended the broadcast yesterday. Natasha says, I'm grateful for our later in life magical relationships too. Amen. High five. I mentioned you last night. I as an example of gratitude for past relationships that and that I get to see you on these love broadcasts. I'm grateful for you. Good morning or hello, Jason and Meta and Mark Loves Magic. Anyone want to share any last gratitudes before we head out into our day? I'm grateful that my hair finally is long enough to pull into a ponytail, even though I really do not like this look. I feel like a Duck Dynasty, Steven Seagal, something. I'm grateful that I don't feel like I have to. Well, let me take that back. I will say I'm grateful that I am working on letting go of the need to be performative, meaning entertaining and funny and witty and quick. I really like it when I feel like I'm entertaining and what I'm trying to practice and I'm trying to learn and I get inspired from Lisa is that there is something that is more special that comes from presence. And so like when Lisa sings, she is devotional to the song. She is not trying to impress anyone. She is not trying to dazzle you with her voice. She is is trying to honor the songs. And I'm working on separating the self-worth with the feeling of being entertaining and charming and funny and witty. You know, I last night Lisa challenged me because I tend to think of like if I, I haven't had I've had a quarter cup of coffee, so I'm feeling a little slower this morning, and I generally associate that with not being as good and as not having as good a day, and she was trying to challenge me and saying maybe try to let go of that story. But it's hard for me to say like, hey, I'm going live, come everyone show up and watch me, if if I'm gonna be slow and not witty and funny, like how dare I ask someone to join me in this container, unless I can have faith that what I am offering is not a show, but a container and presence, and just trusting that in that state, in that presence, it will invite that vibration of gratitude and presence from you, even if I'm not super funny and clever. Thanks, JM. Natasha says, I missed you yesterday because I was signing refinance paperwork and I'm grateful for a smaller monthly mortgage payment. Woo, yeah. Hey, Jay. Jay says, I'm grateful to catch up with the end of your live. I'm glad you're here. Hainun is sharing this quote from Lao Tzu. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Oh, man. Love me some Dao Di Ching. Yeah. Christina says, I am grateful for gifting, celebrating two friends today, one a birthday, the other a going away, and happy to gift them time. The other going away, and happy to gift them time and actual gifts. Ain't gifting the best? We had several conversations last night about Burning Man and gifting, and it was fun. This one young volleyball woman was from Czech Republic, and she'd never heard of Burning Man, and so of course, Lisa and I fell into, you don't have to push very hard for me to start preaching about gifting and radical self-expression and how it changed my life and how it can change the world. Isabel says, I'm grateful to have FaceTimed with my son last week. It was the first time we saw each other since Christmas. Oh, wow. That had to be special. Thank you for sharing. And thanks, everybody. Hey, Chris. Chris says, grateful to catch this as I'm running late. Perfect timing. Thanks for adding your energy to this mix. In addition to sharing gratitude, part of what we do this every morning is just to remember that the world is filled with awesome people. And it can be easy to fill your head with a story of the world's filled with conflict and resentment and disagreement and anger, and that's there, but there's also all you. And so we can remember that as we shine our lights brightly, as we surrender to presence and kindness, and even like push ourselves to allow that light and that kindness to influence and inform how we smile and greet and compliment and gift, then we become the permissionaries. We become the ones that give others to go, oh, okay, yeah. The world is filled with more good people than I thought. And I won't be taken advantage of if I am friendly and smile and assume good intent from people. So thank you for being that evidence for me and for others that the world would rather hug you than hurt you. Ah, thank you, High Noon. Natasha says, I'm excited to be bringing cookies to my vet clinic next week for Vet Tech Appreciation Week. Those people do so much for our pets. Yay. And no cookies for me. I'm on no desserts. I said no to the dessert last night and had apples instead. Whew. Oh, well, wherever you are, I invite you, I request, I ask, wherever you are, give yourself a big hug and feel yourself being connected to this Hug Nation space, a space that has been connecting people for 25 years in this intentional space. It's not physical. It is this intentional space that's beyond time. And you could be watching this recording, or you could be watching this archive from this in the future, and we are still connecting in this place, this idea of shared humanity, of a oneness, of a love energy that we are all intertwined with. So let's sink into that and sink into one another for a second as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being here. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for being part of Hug Nation. Enjoy your Saturday. Izzy, hey, hello, and you in Beijing. Nice. Ah.